What if the old school law of attraction ways of going about manifestation were outdated? What if trying really hard and doing things to get something from over there to into here is something that actually causes more resistance than anything else? And what if by using quantum physics we could have an easier way to manifest what we want, and we'd be using the leverage from the way reality works to make that happen easier than ever? In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to do that, and I believe it will change your life. Welcome back to another video. My name is Aaron and I help people expand their consciousness. Now in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you 3 ways to use quantum physics to manifest your dream life. I'm going to share with you some things that quantum physics has shown me, some things that I've learned, that I've applied, that make all the difference in the world. Now the first one I want to share has to do with understanding the power of intention. Understanding that when we set intention, we are increasing probability. Now, anytime people ask, they say, is this possible? The answer is that anything is possible. What we're really asking is it probable? And the way we make things probable is by setting more intentions. Think of intention in a way as an outcome of a certain reality, and when we focus on this, and we intend to bring it into realization. Intend, in a way, is another way of saying intend. In a way, it's kind of like expect, but it's also like to claim it forth, to claim it forth. And to claim it forth is like also understanding that intention many times is related to action as well. Action is one form of intention, but even just thinking in the intention in your mind, what do you intend for today? Maybe you've heard of Abraham Hicks. Abraham Hicks talks about intention, says that you know, segment intending. I do this. I don't do it as often as I used to, but I do this. What I do is, if I am going to the gym, for example, one segment of my day would be me going over to my car, opening up my door and getting into my car. That could be a segment. And then another segment is me driving to the gym. And then another segment is me at the gym working out. Now what we can do is we can set intentions going into each setting, in each segment. So what I would do is I would set intentions as I was going into my car. I would set intentions to have a safe drive. And then as I'm driving, I'd set intentions that I'm enjoying this drive, that I'm feeling safe, that I'm hitting green lights. And then as I'm getting to the gym, I'd set the intentions that I am having a workout, being present, really in the moment, enjoying the workout, pushing myself beyond my limits. Those are all different intentions we set as we go into different segments. Now, there's another part of this though. Intention, if you've ever listened to Dr. Joe Dispenza, he talks about intention mixed with that of an elevated emotion. That is the key to manifesting what you want. Intention, an outcome of some type of reality in your mind that you declare, an outcome of some type of reality in your mind that you declare, mixed with an elevated emotion. This is why being connected to your passion is so important and so powerful for this. Let me tell you, one of the first times I ever experienced this, I don't know if I've ever shared this story before. I was working that 9-to-5 job selling one-to-one shoes. I have told that story before. But I was working that 9-to-5 job, and when I first started learning about the law of attraction, I'd go in every day and I would try different energy things to see what kind of results I would get. So for example, I might say, I'm gonna intend to sell like $5,000 today, and it was a sales commission job. So if I sold $5,000, I'd get 10% of that, $500. That's like a very good day. And I would set those intentions. Now, one day I did this thing. I'm not a good rapper or anything, okay? When I say rapper, I mean like the actual like beatbox. Someone beatboxes and then you rap behind it. But what I would do is I would go into my car on my lunch breaks. I like to be alone on my lunch breaks sometimes because it was so much people, and I like to like just kind of go within. So sometimes I would go out to my car, and what I would do is I would blast beat drum instrumentals. Okay, so I know this is kind of outside of the league because I don't look like somebody that would do this, maybe like rap or anything. But what I would do is have these beatbox instrumentals going. It's like whatever. well, not like someone beatboxing, but just the beat instrumentals of certain songs, like the Forget About Dre song or something like that. I think that's the one I used to listen to. And what I would do is that music would be going, and what I would do is I would rap about what I wanted to manifest. Reason being is when you get into a flow state and you're rapping, you start to elevate your emotion. So it's almost like as you're putting your intention and your focus on a certain outcome with an elevated emotion, it increases the chances of it happening. Now here's one thing that actually happened, and actually this worked many times, but one of the really memorable ones was I set this intention and I was rapping about how I was going to go back into the, after my lunch break, I was going to go back into Nordstrom's, and I was going to help a customer that was from Mexico that didn't speak much English, that said sin cajas pero con bolsas, which means like without boxes, but with bags, which means they're not going to return it, right? That's what they used to say. And, we got a lot of customers from Mexico that were some of the best customers because they're just like, oh, take that, no boxes, it means they're not going to return it. So I said I had this rap, and I was talking about how there was going to be a family of people that were all going to buy shoes, and they're going to say, they're going to say that same thing, like sin cajas pero con bolsas. So what happens is I rap about that, and it's so cheesy. I know it's so cheesy, but I do it. And then what happened is I go back for my lunch break, and no joke, within 10 minutes, I picked up this family of people that all bought something, and it was the same thing. At the very end, I was like walking over to the cash wrap, and I was like, so do you guys want tienda, or te gusta la caja? And they're like, sin caja pero con bolsa. And I was like, yes. I was like, yes. Like that. And that is how it works. An image with an elevated emotion. So that's the key. So that increases probability. That increases probability. Think of energy and like emotion as the energy, and that also the language that your subconscious mind speaks in. And when I was doing it, I felt it too. I remember when I was rapping it, I was feeling it. I was like really getting into the flow. So that's one way to use quantum physics to manifest your dream reality. Now, the second way that I'm going to share with you, it's going to be inside. You want to know why? I like to change the environment. Let's go. Also, to be honest with you, my hands are really cold. It's actually really cold here in Vegas outside. So the second one, okay, you might be asking yourself, you're like, hey, Aaron, I smoke cigarettes. I want to learn how to stop smoking cigarettes. How can I use quantum physics to stop smoking cigarettes? Well, what you could do is realize that there's an infinite number of yous that exist. Quantum physics shows us that all possibilities exist. And what happens is when we have a certain identity, a certain way we see ourselves, we'll do everything we can to remain consistent to the way that we see ourselves. Now, if we view ourselves as a smoker, and we're trying to quit smoking, that's very difficult because we're trying to change our identity, and our identity likes to feel set. However, if you realize that there's a reality where you never were a smoker, you can then start to tell yourself, I'm not even a smoker. You can start to tell yourself that I am the version of me that never smoked. That makes a huge difference when it comes to this process. You don't always get in life that what you want, but you always get in life who you are. Now, the thing is who you are, there was a certain point in your past where you decided this is who I am. And then you started to do certain actions that made up what you think to be your identity because of the repetition. However, that can change at any moment by realizing that right now you are one probable version of you. However, there's also a version of you that does not smoke cigarettes, or whatever your habit you're trying to get rid of. And when you realize that, you can then say, well, that's the version of me that I prefer, plus you can take on the past of that version of you. See, if we find it hard to smoke cigarettes, to quit smoking, we might tell ourselves a story. It's very hard to quit smoking cigarettes. If I do, I'm going to get these withdrawals. I saw Becky try to do it, and it was horrible for her, and now look at her, or whatever, okay? And I'm sorry for using Becky as an analogy. I know sometimes I use that in my videos, and some people's name is Becky, and they get mad at me, okay? I love you, Becky. I love all of you. So the point of this is use quantum physics to understand that as far as identity goes, there's a version of you that's killing the game. There's a version of you that's literally killing the game, doing exactly what you love for a living. And if you take on that identity, it changes everything. But the main thing with this one is that you can change the past, your past identity. And when you change, and what you do is you just see yourself differently. You realize that your life, you've been one probable identity. I use this to quit smoking weed. That's right. I used to smoke weed back in 2011, 2012. It was a part of my identity. And I saw myself as a smoker. I saw myself as somebody that was like, you know, into conspiracy theories. So I think there's like an archetype when you smoke a lot. And it's like there's like certain things you're going to be into. You're going to be into Joe Rogan. Like hands down, there's no way you're not into Joe Rogan. Then secondly, you're, you know, you probably like to go out and eat with some friends and stuff when you smoke. Thirdly, I mean, this is all like, I'm just kind of joking around here, but part of what I realized is there was almost an identity with it, and because I identified with that archetype, it made it hard for me to quit because of the story I told myself that was on autopilot. But when I realized that I could just be the version of me that I never actually did smoke from this new perspective, and I know that might sound delusional, but when we realize that in a way, the image that we have of ourselves right now is an illusion that we keep reaffirming over and over again, we can start to tell ourselves, like, I could just change my story. I could just change the way that I view myself. So quantum physics shows us that all possibilities exist right now, and that every moment is a completely new moment. I talked about this in a lot of my older videos. Every moment's a new moment. Every moment's a new moment. Every moment's a new moment. What story am I telling myself? What story am I telling myself? What story am I telling? What story am I telling myself? Huh? What story am I telling myself? The story I'm telling myself consistently is on autopilot. I keep telling myself it over and over and over again, and therefore that's the reality I get over and over and over again. But see, that's the thing. Change our story at any moment. We can change the way we identify ourselves and the way we identify our past. I went to the gym yesterday and I was talking to my buddy, a buddy that I haven't seen in a long time, and he's this guy that's like, he has like a sales job and he's doing like really well. It's like a commission sales job, and I was like congratulating him and stuff, and he told me, he's like, dude, I used something you said or something like this like 6 months ago to quit smoking weed, and I just saw myself as not a smoker anymore, and it worked. And it worked. I don't know what that noise is. And I used to smoke weed. Like I said, I used to smoke weed. That's how I quit. I learned meditation, which allowed me to become more aware of things. And then I just let go of that identity altogether. So that's the key to that. Let go of the identity. If you see yourself as somebody that has a lot of emotional baggage, complete the past, feel the emotions, and then let them go. And realize that as you change, as you deal with these things in the present moment, you then change your probable pasts. See, that's the thing too. Sometimes we say, oh, as I change in the present moment, I'm changing my probable futures. What Bashar Sotish and other teachers as well is, when you change your present, you also change your probable pasts. So every moment you're changing, every moment the past experiences you have change as well. Even neuroscience shows us, every single time we think of a memory of something that happened, we take it out of the memory bank, we look at it, we change the memory a little bit and overlay our opinions and our story on it, and then we put it back. And by the time we've done that 10, 20, 100, 1,000 times, guess what? It's a completely different memory. So the past that we think we have isn't even actually the past that really happened. It's the story that we overlaid. So why don't we just put more stories on top of that? Or why don't we just let it go? Just be honest with yourself. Don't you want to let go? Doesn't it seem like a lot of energy to carry all this stuff around? It's almost like baggage that we've just been lugging and lugging and lugging, and we just want to go over there easily, but it's so much baggage to lug. But here's the thing, you just let it go and decide and see it for what it is, something you agreed to pick up a long time ago, but it doesn't serve you no more. And it's actually keeping you entrained in the reality that you've been in. Now, the third way that you can use quantum physics to completely transform your life is understanding a radio frequency and understanding that the reality that you want to experience, it already exists. It already exists. The version of you already exists. Just like we use that. Somebody break my... See, right now there's a reality where the people that mow my lawn probably broke this thing that my mom gave me. Okay? And that's kind of sad. That's kind of sad. But guess what? It's okay. Why know why it's okay? I'm gonna come in here and shift in a minute. I'm gonna go back out there and it's gonna be fixed. I just noticed that, my bad. So any probable reality you can imagine already exists. Think of it like a radio antenna. This is the easiest way, and I use this to become a YouTuber. I use this to become an ascended master. I'm just kidding. But I did use this to become a YouTuber. I did use this, and I'm using this now to become a speaker. And guess what? I had a buddy of mine who owns a big company out in San Diego invite me to his company to do a talk. And it's like I'm embodying this new identity now. And here's the key. Every possible reality already exists. That's what quantum physics shows us. Now, think of yourself like a radio frequency, a radio channel. Or you can tune to any channel. Now imagine that there's 98.7, there's 98.9. Now on 98.7, you are living in a little bit of struggle. There's a lot of things going on. You might feel a lot of resistance. Now 98.7 and 98.9, let's go 98.9. 98.9, you're killing the game. You're living your dream reality. You love what you do, and you're very confident. Now in order to perceive of the 98.9, what you got to do is you got to tune to that frequency in emotionally and by your feeling. You got to tune to that reality. And the way you tune to that reality is you feel the emotions of that version of you now, and you decide that that's who you are. That's who you are. If you look at any of Neville Goddard's work, Neville Goddard's been around for a long time. Or, I mean, he's passed away, but he was back in like 1900s. A lot of his work is about the feeling is the secret. Feel the emotion now, and you eventually will create it in your life. Dr. Joe Dispenza teaches the same thing. I'll be teaching the same thing. Feel the emotion of what you want now, and that eventually becomes your reality. That is also something that quantum physics helps us with, because when we see, here's the part of quantum physics that helps too. When you see that ideal version of you living the dream life, killing the game, that killing the game mentality is natural for that version of you. It's not on a pedestal. It's not amazing if I were to do that. It's not that amazing. It's just who you are. And because it's just who you are, it's natural. That's because the self-image is linked up to it. So how do you do that? You also realize that you can decrease importance you give things. If you make it important, you're saying that's not really who I am. You decrease importance by letting go of trying to control it, letting go of the resistance, of putting it on a pedestal and saying it has to work out the way my ego sees it. If it works out the way my ego sees it, then I'll be happy. But here's the thing. It can happen even more amazing than your ego can even imagine. But what you got to do is let go. Let go. That's another thing with quantum physics, is let go. I have you can create a huge shift as far as quantum shift goes in your reality by letting go of your story and tapping into the vibration of you that you prefer to be, and having a very powerful experience emotionally with that. I have a meditation that's on shifting through parallel realities. And there's people, some of the testimonials I read in the comment section of that is phenomenal. Somebody actually came up to me, at my buddy Victor Otto, he had a retreat. Somebody actually came up to me, and she found out I might be speaking there. So she went to Victor's retreat, and she wanted to just thank me because she said that there was that meditation that she did. And she was told by doctors she would never walk again. And that she broke some part of her back, and she would never walk again, and she'd never be out of a wheelchair. Well, guess what? She was at Victor Otto's retreat in crutches, and she could walk. And she says that that meditation is what helped her to do that. That's how powerful we are. Something doctors tell you can't do, it's possible for you to do when you get to that emotional state and you realize this is the parallel reality I want. So now as I go back outside and I see that it's fixed, you see what I mean? Then you know it works. But that meditation will be right here. Listen to that meditation for 21 days. Watch how your life begins to change. Read the comments that'll increase the belief of what's possible for you. And as always, I'll see you on the next video. Peace, much love, and namaste.